meeting. Okay, welcome Wiscasset Climate Action Team to our November 13th meeting. We are calling the meeting to order at 6:04 p.m. And I wanted to start with a very warm welcome to our new member, Deborah Morgan. Deb,
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, okay, good. Thank you.
Yeah, Deb, do you want to tell us a little bit about you in just a minute?
I moved to Wiscasset 8 years ago, and I like it. And I'd like to be a part of the community that's doing something to make it safe for everyone. And climate is the way to do it. And that's it.
Thanks, Deb. Well, we're very pleased to welcome you to our group.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And I know you have been one of our most stalwart attendees of meetings over the last several months. So we're really glad to welcome you on board.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. So with that, we have a packed agenda today. And as we are hosting this meeting entirely on Zoom, I'll be doing a lot of screen sharing so that you can see the materials that we're discussing. There are also links in the agenda that I shared via email with everybody. So if you want to follow along, you may, but hopefully the screen sharing is also very visible to everybody. So I'm going to share my screen now so that you can see our agenda for today. So one of our big outcomes from today's meeting is we want to finalize a draft municipal resolution proposal for the select board to consider at their next meeting on November 21st. This draft municipal resolution is a commitment by the town to take action on climate change, as well as designating the Wiscasset Climate Action Team to be a point of contact with the Maine Community Resilience Partnership, for which we will be applying later this month or early December. And this is one of the requirements, passing the municipal resolution is one of the requirements of applying for the Community Resilience Partnership so that we can become eligible for the $50,000 community action grant. We will be reviewing some of our to-dos for that application to the program, as well as, or following that discussion, we're going to be talking about Repower Wiscasset Working Group's updated proposal, which we discussed at our last meeting. We're going to have a quick report out on the Pleasant Street Extension Sidewalk, which took place last week, apparently in the rain and cold. So very impressed by members of our committee who went out there last week. We have some opportunity for public comments should any members of the public join the meeting. And then we will talk about a shift in our schedule now that we are moving into a phase where we don't necessarily need to meet every 2 weeks, but we could potentially move to a monthly meeting schedule. So with that, go back to the requirements of applying in the partnership, which are available on the governor's office website. So to join, we have to adopt a municipal resolution from the select board. We have to complete 2 self-assessments to assess existing progress and identify potential next steps. A community resilience self-evaluation, which this committee completed over the summer in addition to the town manager, and a list of community actions, 72 actions, which I will have, which I've gone over with the town manager and will be sharing with our committee, and want to talk over how we want to handle updating that for our application. Next, we had to hold two public workshops to review self-assessment results and prioritize projects for implementation, and get input and feedback. We have held two public workshops to check off this box. And then we need to submit all of our community enrollment materials from the first three steps. We are getting support in that step from Sri Viral of Sunrise Ecologic, who has attended many of our meetings.
Mm-hmm. Good recap.
Thank you. So first I wanted to review the draft municipal resolution. The Community Resilience Partnership Working Group of our committee met last week to pull together a draft for consideration by the full committee, which is shown on the screen here and shared with you via email. And we will be posting this to the web with the meeting materials from this meeting. So this resolution is made up of two different sections. There is a preamble with a number of optional statements, and those statements we have tried to tailor based on the feedback and input that we heard from the public, from the two public workshops, as well as the public survey. And then a few required statements by the Community Resilience Partnership. So in order to enroll in the partnership, we need to include statements towards the end. And so those include committing to participating in the Community Resilience Partnership, 6 priority climate action areas listed here, and we'll go through them in more detail. And a couple further resolution statements that we included, such as taking swift action on projects that build momentum to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, and a statement designating the Wiscasset Climate Action Team to coordinate planning, implementation, and monitoring of energy and resilience projects, and to be the primary point of contact to the Community Resilience Partnership. So this is, this last item is something that the select board could decide to modify, but the Community Resilience Partnership Working Group members felt that we would be the natural entity within the town to list here. So hopefully you all had an opportunity to review this draft resolution before our meeting. And with that, I'm gonna open the floor to comments and suggestions if there are any specific edits that folks would like to see in the resolution. We could start with the preamble to see if there's anything that was missing or any language that folks would like to edit.
Cassie, I was just looking at the Yarmouth municipal resolution, and it's more succinct. I think we can get rid of a few of the whereases.
Yeah, I agree.
I think we need to really pare this down and make it as clear and simple as possible, because I'm worried that when we get this in front of the select board, they're going to say, well, we don't understand what you're asking us to vote on. So I wonder if we don't need to really simplify this and tailor it and make it a little bit more specific. Like the Yarmouth municipal resolution. And there was another one that I think you had shared with us, or a link you'd shared with us. I don't remember the name of the town that, I don't remember which one that is, but that's my feedback.
Are there specific statements that you would take out?
Yes. Leslie, go ahead.
No, you go ahead, Lisa. You
No,
start.
No, you. No, you first.
Lisa, you start. Tell us.
Go ahead, jump in there.
I I agree with everything you're saying. And I think I think all of them need tightening up, and there are ones that I think need to be pulled out entirely.
Okay.
The municipal fleet vehicles to electric vehicles, I would pull that out. I don't think that should be a priority, because it just isn't going to impact enough. It's not going to impact enough of anything, I think, to be something that I think we should be focusing on right now. I think it's something we need to think about going forward, but there are other things that I think are possibly more important than putting that one in. I think the other ones are a little bit general. Like Leslie said, I'm not really sure what you're doing with them. I think they're all things we heard about in the meetings, but they're so generalized that I'm afraid for the same reason Leslie is. I think that the select board's going to look at that and go, okay, yeah, great. What now? I mean, so I'm not really clear on what it is we're trying to achieve here. I guess that's my biggest concern with this resolution. And it would be interesting to look at some other resolutions that have gone through, but
yeah, to just respond, that's helpful. A lot of these statements we drew from the sample municipal resolution language that the Community Resilience Partnership provides for towns. We did edit them somewhat to be more specific to the town of Wiscasset, particularly this first clause. I do see the preambles as essentially being statements of what the town of Wiscasset is concerned about with regards to climate change, and then the be it resolved later, these are the actual actions that the town is sort of committing to with the resolution. This is just sort of like a preamble up here.
So, but even in the preamble, Cassie, I mean, again, I don't know where you guys came to in the notes, but the things that to me I heard the most about was wastewater sewage plant, sea level rise in the waterfront, community communication systems, so that when something is going on that we need to know about, how do we let people know that? For instance, a fire, flood, rainfall, any of that. The heating and cooling centers. Those are the things that seemed, at least in the group that I was in, to be coming up. And when we got everything up on the wall, those are the ones that really stood out from everything else, I think.
Yes. And those are all summarized down in the priority action areas down at the bottom of, in the sort of required statement section of the municipal resolution here.
Cassie, we brainstormed on last Friday, and I also had time to reflect, and I just need to know, what is the most important thing? Is it the one that we have highlighted down below here, that this is what we want the town to do? Is this where the money is? Okay.
Yes,
So
these are all required. Everything above it is optional preamble statements.
Yep. Okay, but can we go down again? Because I'd like to make a couple of points here.
Okay.
I think that I still go back to what we discussed, is that we've got to make sure that our community sees something happen faster rather than slower.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I can't figure out how to make that work, but I think it still is general. I've read it like 3 or 4 times, and I have to tell you, as a leader of a town, I would think that they would want to know specifics. What is it? That's my thinking. I could be wrong. Maybe they'll take, the general, but that's my concern.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jan.
So I'm hearing,
I think, yeah, I mean, those statements are still, I still feel like I'm looking at the slideshow going, okay, yeah, I guess it's not, it doesn't seem, maybe it's the wording, I don't know, but I just feel like you can get lost in the weeds on this really easily, and then nothing happens.
Let's take a quick a quick look. I mean, as a sanity
Hmm.
check, you guys want to
Yeah.
take a look at what Yarmouth has written?
Yeah.
Yeah, do you have
Yeah.
that?
Okay, yeah, I do. Let me
Drop
share
the
my
link in
screen.
the chat.
Yeah,
Or
or I can just share my screen.
Great.
sure, I'll stop sharing.
Okay.
Great.
Um, I want to make sure that as we're having our discussion today, we keep in mind that the select board, we're hoping to move something forward to
Mhm.
send to the
Believe me.
select board
Yeah, totally
Okay,
agree.
but
tomorrow.
I want to say something on that. And I emailed you this, Cassie, never got a response back. I hoped that we learned from the first workshop that doing it quickly was a bad idea. We did not have our homework done. It did not go off well. The second one was so much better and so much more of a success because I think we did dot our I's and cross our T's and did our homework. My concern is that I don't really care if the select board gets this next week if it's not where we think it needs to be and it doesn't have a good chance of passing. So if we have to knock this back, it seemed to me that Shri was the one that said to us, you guys don't have to get this done by the end of November in order to be eligible for the funding. So again,
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
really concerned about taking this and pushing it when personally, I think it needs a lot more work. Personally, I think that we're trying to make deadlines as opposed to doing the right thing and the best way for the village of Wiscasset. And if that takes us another couple weeks to get there and the board doesn't vote until December, we're still in line for those funds at the first of the year, as far as what I remember Shri saying. So I don't think that we should all be so focused on the select board meeting next week. I think what we should be focused on is this the right resolution for the town of Wiscasset and does it get us where we need to be?
I agree, Lisa. I'll say we can make that decision. We just need to, make sure we get to a concrete decision by the end of our meeting, how we want to proceed. We
Okay.
may lose Shree's support if we don't submit this by Thanksgiving. That being said, I think that with the level of support we have had from Shree, that we would be able to submit this ourselves. It's just, it's been slightly unclear when her availability is concluded for this year. And these are two different steps: applying for the partnership and applying for the grant.
Correct.
We
Yep.
will be applying for next year, early next
Correct.
year, regardless. This is just this first step of applying for the partnership.
Okay, I'm going to say one more thing before I shut up. I am.
I love the passion, Lisa.
I am completely confident in your ability, Cassie. I think you have done one hell of a job with
Yeah,
this
me
group
too.
leading us. I absolutely do not think that this should be dependent on Shri Verrill. I think she's done a fine job up to this point. I do not think she's something that is imperative to the process going forward. I think you can handle it. I think you've got people behind you. I think we are all committed to this. So
Yeah.
I am personally willing to put my vote behind saying, bye-bye, Shri, Cassie, take it on, let's go. That's it, I'm done.
Okay, so I'm hearing that a proposal that we would like to take a longer time to review this. Can I see a show? Well, is there a second for that
I
motion?
second that.
You put forward the motion, Lisa. So I'm
Oh.
gonna-
I second that.
Okay, second. And all in favor for that, could you please raise your hand physically, or if you know how to raise your hand virtually, or actually, I'm gonna go ahead and ask folks who are not on video to tell me yes or no. So I saw a hand from Jan. Colleen, yes, aye or nay? Aye, hand. Leslie, seconded. Marty?
No,
No. Okay, you do not wish to take longer time. You want to finish this today and send it to the select board.
correct.
Okay. Lisa, you put forward the motion, so your vote
Yes.
will be aye.
Yes.
Deb?
Did she leave us?
Who? Oh, me?
Yes,
Yes.
Deb.
Oh,
Would
So I
you,
got
the
lost.
question is, would you like to take longer to develop our municipal resolution? As opposed to moving forward with submitting it so that the select board can vote next week?
Well, I almost feel like I'm not qualified to answer that because I missed the last couple of meetings, so I'm really not as up to date on it as I
Okay.
should be. So I think I'll just
Abstain.
abstain.
You're
Abstain.
very welcome to abstain. Okay, so
Mhm.
we have, I vote aye. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ayes, 1 nay, 1 abstain. So this motion to take longer to finish our municipal resolution passes.
Thank you. Thank you, Cassie.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so then, I will just, make a note in our notes that we are doing that, and, I will communicate that to the town manager and to the select board.
Great.
So Cassie, when would, if we're not going to propose this or present this to them next week, then they meet next, what this, do you
The
remember when the
21st.
December meeting is?
The December
First,
the
It's,
first,
it's
Tuesday.
December 1st.
first
Okay.
and third.
Tuesday, so that's the 5th of December.
Okay.
We can make that work.
I think we can make that work.
Mhm.
okay,
Yeah, I think we can.
Yep.
okay. Great, and I will also follow up with Shri.
Cassie, just a question, if they have their select board meeting on the 5th, when do we need to get the documents to them?
We need to get it to them, I believe, 8 days ahead of time.
Okay.
Okay.
So that means in 2 weeks, we need to get it.
Okay.
We can
Okay.
do that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
So that will impact our meeting schedule, but we can schedule another meeting.
Mhm.
Great. I think that's good.
Okay. All right, with that, let's go through this Yarmouth. Let's see.
Yeah, let's take a quick
Now,
gander.
let's go through the Yarmouth resolution and see how we wish to edit.
Right.
I like the statement, and I think Jen mentioned it, prompt action. Be it further to resolve that the town of Wiscasset commits to prompt actions while recognizing the significant commitment, including regulatory, blah, blah, blah.
Which one are you at?
Yeah, we were
you-
looking at
you
the
were just
Yarmouth
about-
one right
Be
now.
it further resolved.
Oh,
But are you
down
looking-
below,
I
thank
see.
you.
The
Okay.
town of Yarmouth commits to take prompt actions while recognizing that significant.
Doesn't have to be exactly, but the idea of
Mhm.
prompt action, in other
Mhm.
words, get it moving.
Yeah.
And I thought all the, I didn't, look it over with a fine tooth comb, but I felt a lot of the preambles might not, some of them were repetitive and they're included down below anyway. So, and the resolution isn't designed to be specific. We're supposed to be coming up with the specific things that we recommend, is my understanding.
So my understanding is that it is general. It's not
Right,
specific.
right.
Recommend actions recommended to the town.
Yeah, somebody mentioned being specific in the resolution, and my understanding, it's not specific in the resolution, but we're supposed to be coming up with 2 to 6 projects that are specific.
It's 2 to 6 climate priorities.
Right.
And let me look back at the language, action areas. So
Mhm.
it's not specific projects, it's action areas.
So if you look at what Yarmouth has done, be it further resolved, they
Yeah.
commit to take prompt actions A, B, C, D, and
Yeah.
they seem like pretty clear-cut steps. I mean, this is specific. Bring municipal greenhouse gas emissions to net zero as quickly as possible, no later than December 31st, 2030. That's fairly specific.
Very. Yeah.
Yep.
and
We do
greenhouse
the
gas
same thing
emissions
in
by
C,
80%.
yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Like that state policy.
It's
I
what?
mean,
Yeah.
the thing that's nice about those, Leslie, is I think they are specific enough that then you can easily attach specific actions to
Yes,
them.
right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
we can pick from that list and plug those in, I think, better into that kind of a framework.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah.
Plus-
I also really like in this and also in the Biddeford resolution that they say that they're joining other main communities, including Portland,
Yeah.
South Portland, blah blah blah. There
Right.
is so I think we should do that in ours because it makes it feel like this is a much larger movement, and Wiscasset isn't just being, you know, just a bunch of crackpots trying to address climate change. You know, we're becoming a much larger community in the entire state. So I kind of like that.
I think that's great. And I think we get, don't we get, there's possibilities if we do things together, there's greater funding available. If
Mhm.
we focus on
Yes.
things like
Yes.
transportation, we link up with Booth Bay or Damerscott or Bath.
Mhm.
I think there's more money available, correct?
Right.
There is,
Right.
it has to
Yeah.
be the same project. Shri got clarification, communicated that to me. So, for example, if, other towns wanted to do a climate action plan, you know,
Right.
together, or a climate vulnerability assessment together, we could each get 62,500.
If you look at the, what was actually granted, nobody applied for that. There were like 48 grants in the summer of 2023, and there was nobody who got the 62,000. People applied mostly for the 50,000 or less.
Primarily,
In every grant, you have to have there's specific things that they're shooting for.
Yeah. Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, but
So,
if you
Why I'm
think about,
saying we have to present the select board some projects for them to select. We can't be vague. We have to be specific. This is what's going to go into the grant.
It's not necessarily what's going to go into the grant, Martin, or Marty.
All I'm saying is you have to be specific in the grant what you need to apply
You
for.
do, but the project that's described in the grant proposal does not necessarily need to be laid out in the municipal resolution.
correct.
Yeah, I agree there. But who's going to decide that? When is that going to be decided?
Well, we'll write this first, and then I guess we'll duke it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In December, January, February, that's when our committee will be working
Mhm.
on the grant proposal. Very much in partnership with the select board and the town manager.
Yeah.
Right. The one thing that I really like about joining with other communities is, to Leslie's point, is that it does make it feel like a bigger, more comprehensive
Mhm.
step. And I think that forming those partnerships with our neighbors are going to be really critical going forward.
Yeah.
The fact that maybe no one's done that yet, doesn't mean that we can't do it now. And there's certainly all sorts of things that we could talk about with regard to transportation corridors, environmental safety corridors, whatever, that would obviously, I think, suggest that we could link up with other communities. So I think that that's one that I'd hope that we would keep the door open on, and that we would be creative enough to come up with things, at the very minimum, reaching out to Bath, Booth Bay, and Damerscott to find out what they're doing and let them know that we're interested. I think that in and of itself is a great step forward.
But what are the towns that we're associated with? I know it's
Booth Bay, I think.
In Booth Bay Harbor, and Southport. Bath isn't.
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yep. Okay. Thanks, Colleen.
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay, so we are looking at,
I just pulled Biddeford up, and I put
Biddeford.
the links to both of them in the chat.
Thanks.
Great.
thank you,
So if you
Leslie.
want to take a look at them
That's very
afterwards,
helpful.
I mean, I don't want to copy other people, but
Right.
I feel like if we like wording in any of these, there's no reason why we can't adopt it,
Exactly.
because maybe, yeah, because, you know, I mean, we're all just trying to figure this out as we go. And some of this is nicely written.
Mm.
Yes,
We don't need to reinvent the wheel if it's already there.
Exactly.
right.
You got it, sister. So theirs is very short. They don't really have a lot of specifics in the Biddeford resolution. I think I like the Yarmouth one better, but
Yeah.
it's certainly something everybody can all take a look at.
It's interesting. The Biddeford one has, can you go all the way down to the bottom
Yeah,
of it? It
they have
has reference.
sources.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It has what?
it
Reference.
has
points.
references.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is an interesting one.
Yeah.
It
It's-
doesn't seem to
It's
be
not
formatted.
exactly, it's a proposal for the
Mhm.
Declaration of Climate Emergency Resolution. But it's not exactly a municipal resolution.
Exactly. Yeah, I think the Yarmouth
Yarmouth would be.
format, let me pull that up
Yeah,
again.
the
Might be
Yarmouth
better.
format is, it has as required elements for
That's right.
enrolling in the Community Resilience Partnership. We don't want to lose track of those. I do like that they have a shorter preamble,
Yeah, me
and
too.
then they
Mhm.
resolve to do certain things.
Yeah,
It's nice that they list the commitments, and I think
Yeah.
that's
I think
I
that
do. I like
listing that
that.
is actually great.
Yeah. And the things they list in the be it further resolve are a lot of things we've done, right? We've done most of these, whether we want to list them and at the end say this is completed, but we
Right.
could sort of follow this blueprint and come up with something that's specific to us, but
Yeah.
Mhm.
we have a little bit more time now, so
Right. Right.
But I
we
think
can
we
go
need
back
to
and
be,
look.
but I think we need to manage that time pretty well because we
Yeah.
also have Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you're
Exactly.
right.
Yeah. So I am concerned about that. Anyway, it's just that.
Well, do you guys want to hash it out tonight, or do you want to try to have everybody look at these documents, take a pass at how they'd like to see our resolution written, and then just share them via email? What do you
Like,
think, Cassie?
We do have to be careful that we're doing this in a transparent manner.
That's right.
Um,
I mean, we've booked the time, and this is the
Mhm.
number one issue that we need to deal with, correct?
Okay, so
we
you
do.
want to do it tonight? Want to just
Yeah,
Well,
let's
buckle down?
let's go through some of this and do what we can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
I want to make sure we spend a little bit of time. So we've got maybe 10 or 15 more minutes on our scheduled agenda to talk through this. I want to make sure we also get to our follow-up emails from the workshop and sort of our application to-do list for the Resilience Partnership. But let's go ahead and work through the resolution.
Okay.
Mm.
And so
Marty, will you be the timekeeper? Is he gone?
Marty's here. Marty, you're on mute.
Oh, I can't see him.
I've asked him to unmute. Still on mute.
Deborah, will you be our timekeeper, please, for 30 minutes?
Why, yes, I will.
Okay, the clock has started. Okay, let's go.
Yeah,
So
so
what
give us a
time are
heads
we
up in
going?
about 20 minutes.
Okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay, so folks, do you want me to reshare my screen to show?
Yes.
Yep, yeah, definitely.
Yes, okay. Look at our resolution. Here we are. Okay, so I am happy to type along.
I like the way that Yarmouth's resolution begins. I'll put the title in the chat.
Okay.
because it starts off in a really general way. Global climate change poses catastrophic perils, blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
Apologies. I'm gonna get all my tabs. There we go. So,
Leslie, when you say you've got it in your chat, is there a way for me to see the Yarmouth one next to the Wiscasset one on the screen?
You would have to open up a window, a browser window, take that chat and put it in, and pull up the
Oh, man.
the Yarmouth
Here,
page on a separate.
I can share I can share my entire screen as opposed to one window.
Oh, you're so good.
God, you're good, Cassie.
She really is a whiz.
Man, she's got some skills.
Yeah, she has some mad skills.
Thank you very much. Let's get this going. Well, we used to do this for the Maine Climate Council. We did it quite frequently.
True.
Okay, you are going to see some of your faces. I will minimize
Okay.
it
Mhm.
so you don't all have to look at yourselves.
Thank you.
Okay.
So I know it's not the favorite thing of everyone.
Right.
Okay.
All
So
right, there we go.
hopefully folks can see this, and then we've
Nice.
got the
Well
Yarmouth
done.
Okay, great,
resolution
Great.
here.
great.
Oops. Okay. Love it.
Okay,
Love it.
perfect, perfect, perfect. Great, thank you.
And so the initial statement is talking about how global climate change poses several perils
Catastrophic perils.
mhm,
Right.
for an array of issues and requires high priority responses and action plans from all sectors of society.
And that's a good way to start, I think.
Mhm.
Mhm. Yeah, I think so.
I don't know whether we have to change some words around so that we're not.
This reads a little it reads a little high level to me.
Right,
Oh.
but they dig down. It starts high
Yeah.
level, but it gets more specific and talks about municipal scale focus, right? So I think it's kind of nice that they start really high level and they drill down to specifics for that town.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to me.
I'm just gonna flag the language that they're using here to declare a climate emergency. That is a
Okay.
very different proposal than simply committing to climate action.
Okay.
And it's not one that we've had a discussion of, and it has some legal implications for potential legal implications for declaring an emergency, a state of emergency.
Okay.
This
Okay.
came up during
So
COVID. And this has been a sort of a wider discussion about a national climate emergency not being declared.
okay, we can tone it down.
I'm loath to use the emergency language.
Let's tone it down then.
Do we
I
want to?
think that's good. I agree.
Cassie, I mean, really.
Yes, you really know what's going on here.
I
Not
will-
all of us have been in this world the way you have.
Not a worry. But I will say, we could use the language saying that restoring a safe and stable climate requires extraordinary municipal scale urgent
Yeah.
Right.
mobilization.
Good one. Mhm.
Okay,
Okay. So the third statement about the town being a leader in the state of Maine by initiating climate mobilization actions to convert to an ecologically regenerative local economy.
You really need that?
We probably don't. That seems a little
well, wait a minute,
highfalutin.
guys, hold on. Remember how we talked about if you remember the sign when you're coming into Wiscasset?
Oh,
and
yeah.
a few people have suggested, wouldn't it be great if it was Wiscasset, one of the greenest little villages in Maine?
Right.
There's something to that.
Yeah, Peter's proposal.
Yeah.
Sorry, the
so-
Repower Wiscasset proposal.
Yeah, so I actually think that's it's a good thing to aspire to as for the town. actually.
Mhm.
Because it says it can be
Right.
a leader in the state of
But
Maine.
it says
Correct.
village, it says village. And we need to consider that there are other people that live in Wiscasset that don't live in the village. And we also have to be able to speak to them. And I think if you concentrate on the prettiest village in Maine and all that, you're really going to alienate a lot of other people. And I don't think that's what we need to do.
Does town work better for you in terms of semantic choice of words as opposed to village?
I
that
think
sound
in
more
this particular
inclusive?
case, and the town is split, I think we should not highlight the village. I think we should make it the town of Wiscasset.
Okay.
Hmm.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Is there an alternate phrase that folks would suggest? Ecologically regenerative local economy is not very, it's going to be confusing.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Yep. Managing climate mobilization actions to convert.
We could suggest something like to convert to a
Eco-friendly, green.
I would say maybe clean
Clean.
energy
I'd
and
say clean. I'd
climate
stay away from some of those words.
prepared
Mhm.
Right.
town.
Clean. Yeah, I think
Energy and climate. Yeah, that works.
Yeah, that does work, prepared time. Yep.
instead of
That's good.
ecological regenerative local economy. Yep.
I got it. And then I would say emergency we want to take.
Yeah, no.
And
Yep,
taking
right.
out
Yep.
You're right. Exactly.
at
Urgent. I mean, oh yeah, I mean, you guys, let's call a spade here. It's not like we have a long time to screw around with this. So urgent.
Right. Yeah.
as well as advocating for regional and national efforts necessary to reverse global warming and the ecological crisis.
Mhm.
Mm.
That works.
Okay.
Okay. Do you guys, are you guys all good with that?
I'm liking it. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Very
now we
good.
go to therefore be it resolved.
Yeah, because that's the way to do it for sure, I think. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd try to include a town in the other district,
Yes.
Yeah.
and you could find that on the who is granted.
Yes. Bath is one.
Yeah. Southport.
I
district.
think Westport has already joined.
Oh yeah, they already got a grant.
Yeah, Westport, I think Woolwich.
Need to look at Westport's.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Well,
See if
it's
we
on
can
the
find
website.
it.
It's on the community resilient website. Who was granted all the, well, it goes back even, it'll give you everybody who has gotten a grant in past years.
Mhm.
But you could find out what specifically on the summer of 2023. Yeah, I know Bath was included in that.
We have, if my screen loads, well, here's the full
Oh,
list
wow.
of enrolled community,
Wow. It's huge.
Right. Yeah.
130 something.
Mhm.
So we have Bath,
Bangor, I would put down Bangor.
Westport.
Sport Island.
How about Lewiston?
I think it's better to include
No.
things that are around us, Marty.
Yeah.
It's going to resonate a little bit more, I think.
Mhm.
Well, I'm saying that there's a lot of conservative people here in town,
Mhm.
and I think you need to address them.
Well, how would you not address them by just talking about communities that are closer to you? There's conservative people everywhere.
Southwest Harbor. What else do we have around us? Waldeboro.
Edgecombe.
Yeah, is Edgecombe on the list? I think they're just
No.
joining.
No, they
No,
didn't
but
even want to join.
do we need to
How about
list?
Woolwich.
We've got that. It's
She
on
got
there.
it.
Got
Oh,
that here.
Oh,
Yep.
sorry.
I don't know that do we need to list everything?
I
Yeah,
think
we
Board
don't.
Member Scotta, are they
I don't see it on there. I don't know
see
where.
that.
There it is. Hold on. Communities, go back up again, Cassie. Communities
Oh,
working
they're
with service
working.
provider to enroll. So Downward
they're
Scott is one
working.
of the ones. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna be very surprised if they were not on there.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
Is Edgecombe in this list? Edgecombe is not in this list.
Edgecombe, I think, was in the upper one. No.
They couldn't even get them to join us.
No.
poor
No.
little Edgecombe.
Okay,
Interesting.
okay,
good.
so Beth, we could list the other
Booth
towns like Booth Bay.
Yeah, Booth Bay Harbor.
Southport.
Marty,
Yeah.
are there some communities that are perceived as more conservative than?
Definitely, that's why I was suggesting in the other district.
I mean, you could throw, like, say, like
Yeah.
Bangor?
And as a matter of fact, Wisconsin's probably pretty split.
100%.
And we did elect a Republican. And we have as a rep, and we've had other split Democrats. So
Yeah.
kind of a split. And overall, I think, it's amazing Lincoln County has so many Democratic representatives.
Could I just make a suggestion that, okay, this we can look at again. I think we have
Mhm.
other things we need
Yeah,
to.
let's move
Right.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really
It's
do.
not critical.
Mhm.
I think we ought to come back to this specific
Yeah. Mhm.
language because
Sure.
we're not
Right.
declaring an emergency,
Very
but
good.
we can, yes, we can move on. Thank you for keeping an eye on the time. Okay, so earlier we discussed this section here in the
Mhm.
Yarmouth resolution, and we did like that. I'm going to just move these
Excuse me.
optional clauses to the end
Okay,
for the time being.
sure. Good idea.
Okay. So, be it resolved.
Sorry.
Be it further resolved, the town of Wiscasset commits to take prompt actions while recognizing that significant commitment is needed to slow and eventually halt the local contribution to global climate change and the associated negative ecological, economic, social, and public health crises. The town's commitments are to. This is where
Right. This is where we get to the details.
yes, this is where we
Yeah.
get into the details. So
Mhm.
these make a lot of sense. They are
Yeah, they
Yep.
do.
requirements. Okay.
Yeah, this point B, is this something we want to commit to?
Bring municipal
Yeah.
grid.
Have no idea what the footprint of Wiscasset's emissions are. Yarmouth has
Right.
a greenhouse gas emissions inventory where
Wow.
they had an existing one that they were working from.
Okay,
And
that's
so they had
interesting.
a baseline. Yeah,
Cassie, would that go back or be included in the vulnerability assessment that we'd suggested or that we're talking about suggesting?
I would
Would-
say that
would you
would go
get
in the
that?
climate action planning process. You could assess we could do
The carbon
emissions
footprint.
inventory. Mhm.
Okay,
Greenhouse gas
Okay.
emissions inventory. Yes.
okay.
So we could propose that the town commit to establishing a greenhouse gas emissions inventory or understanding its emissions footprint.
That's a
like-
good idea.
I
Yeah, I
like
like that.
that.
Yeah,
Understand
Wiscasset's greenhouse gas, yeah.
emissions and work to reduce them to net zero as quickly as
Yes.
possible.
Great.
Or do we put a date? As quickly as possible. It could go, I mean, it's a goal.
Yeah. This, I think a specific date might make them very nervous.
I think I agree with you.
I would say in a climate action planning process, this is the kind of assessment you could do. We could assess where the emissions are, where the difficult points are to reducing emissions, and then come up with a proposed goal.
Target.
A target for a date, a
Okay.
target date.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So I
Great.
would recommend
Okay.
that. Is that everybody?
Great.
comfortable?
Yeah, love that.
Yeah, that's good.
Great.
Yep.
4-minute warning.
Thank you.
Deb.
We're so close.
Okay,
Yes, we are.
we're getting close. Make sure. Okay, just do that there. Okay, so we want to understand Wiscasset's emissions. These last 2 points I actually quite liked about
Me
providing
too.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
particularly like C.
Yeah.
Yeah, C, and I
Or
also
D,
like
yeah.
D.
Yeah.
I do think that we need to edit this a little bit because we don't
Yeah.
have a specific greenhouse gas
Yeah.
emissions
Yeah.
goal. Promotes reductions.
Miles, come on. Sorry.
Significant, just say significantly, reduction significantly.
Reductions
Significantly. Significantly.
Why significantly? We want to get the reductions.
Because you don't want to put a date on there for the reasons that Cassie just outlined, but significantly makes it seem like it's still something that we're looking at. We know it's a concern and it's somewhat urgent without putting a number to it.
Urgent
That will scare.
emergency. Okay.
Yeah.
Engage the community throughout the process. This next, yeah, there you go. You see that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wide cross section of population. Yeah, that also is really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the affordability and accessibility is really going to resonate.
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Okay, so next section would
Be it further resolved.
get further resolved. And I think we have an existing section.
Yeah, that's good.
So are we gonna ask the select board to have input into this, or?
Yes, it's possible that they could decide to edit this prior to passing the final resolution.
Right. So if we're close to it, could we send it out sooner than later?
So we do want to send it out as quickly as possible. I'm not sure that we will finish this in this meeting, but
No, you won't. You've got 1 minute.
Yeah.
yes,
And you're
But-
quite close, Cassie. I could yield my time.
that is up to you, Peter. I don't want to,
You know,
You're almost there.
Yeah, we're on a roll. If Peter doesn't mind.
okay. Thank you, Peter.
Do you want to extend your time limit then? Because you only have seconds.
Yes.
Good job, Deb.
We're going to extend the timeline. Thank you, Peter. We will
Good.
make sure the next meeting we will have time on the agenda for you to
can I just suggest for the next one, Cassie, that you put him at the top of the agenda, because we've done this now
Yeah.
with him 3 different times. And I think it's time that we start with him and let's get it out
Yes,
of the
I
way.
think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm interested in what they have to say, and I think it's pertinent to the things we're discussing, but
Right.
I hate to keep putting him off. So I think we should start with him the next time.
Well, it's nice to see that number 4 in the priorities is we're the action step for that priority.
How long do you want to extend this? 5 minutes, 10 minutes?
Let's go ahead and take a look at our agenda here. So we wanted to spend the first 50 minutes. We are extending a little bit. That was 55, so 15 more minutes.
All righty.
Thank you, Deb.
All right.
Okay. Here's the Yarmouth resolution. And so here we are designating the climate action team.
Right?
Yarmouth put forward a specific project in their resolution that I'm not sure we want to do.
Task force.
Where
We're,
is that?
yeah,
Well, the Climate Emergency Task Force is WCAT, right? That's,
mhm,
I think
Yeah.
they've created the task force and we've created the Wiscasset Climate Action Team. That's how I read that.
Mhm. And they directed that this so their resolution declares a climate emergency, and so they established an emergency task force.
Mhm.
I'm not sure if they established that as a new committee or an initiative of the town, but
Hmm.
whichever they did, they directed them to develop a Yarmouth climate action plan.
Mhm.
And then it looks like that task force would collaborate with the town council to identify candidates for the task force.
Complete the
resilience. And
Yeah, it sounds like what we're doing.
yeah,
it does. They would update their greenhouse gas baseline.
Well, that's
oh,
interesting.
yeah,
all within a year. This is a lot that it's this section that I wasn't quite sure we would want to mirror in our resolution. I
Yeah.
think this might be, these kind of actions might be something that we focus on that would be a candidate for the community action grant as identified
Yeah.
by the top priorities from the workshops and the public feedback.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying, yeah.
You know, I think, unfortunately for Wiscasset, Yarmouth is a far more progressive place.
Sure.
Yeah, it is.
And so they can handle this stuff. I don't think Wiscasset is anywhere close. So I think we need to, I think Cassie's right. I think we should probably
Yeah.
take that out.
That sounds reasonable.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
So the last bit, this is
It's a
I
little
think relevant
strong.
to us because
No, I
it
agree.
relates to a
Mhm.
climate emergency.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And the last section is the town of Yarmouth shall submit a copy of this resolution to a number of people around the state.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not bad. Are we supposed to do that anyway? If we're participating?
No, we do not have to do this. I think they're
Okay.
doing this to raise awareness that
Uh-huh. That's
Yeah.
kind of
Okay.
cool.
declared a climate emergency, and they were trying to bring
Yeah.
attention to that and
Right.
requested that all relevant support and assistance in
Yeah.
putting the resolution
Okay.
should be happen. That would be provided. So I think in our own resolution, we have this section that talks about our workshops and our priorities. This is required.
yep,
Mhm.
So I
Mhm.
would say that I would recommend that we move this here.
Okay.
After
Okay.
saying we can be a leader in Maine, saying we've already started to take action.
Mhm.
And these last sections are what we're committing to do.
Yeah, I think that looks good.
I think that last be it further resolved might not be necessary.
Yes, that
To
is
reduce,
older.
to reduce the greenhouse gases.
Mhm.
Go back
Is that
up.
what you're saying, Leslie?
The one commits to taking swift action on projects that will quickly build momentum to reduce
You're right,
greenhouse
Les.
gas emissions. I think we've already
right.
It's a
said
little-
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that can come out.
I think
Yes.
so.
Okay.
Mhm.
I'm with Leslie.
Thanks, Deb.
You're welcome. 9 minutes.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna take this out.
Mhm.
And we'll bump down our optional clauses.
I know. Good
There
boy.
we are. Okay, so this is
Good job.
Wow,
Quite a bit
really
order.
good job.
I think we kicked that little municipal resolution's butt.
It's nice to have something else to look at.
Yeah.
It is. Are there,
Reinventing the wheel. Don't we?
Yes.
there's one section that we skipped over a little bit here. This section to declare that a climate and ecological emergency threatens our town, state, nation, civilization, humanity, and the natural world. We are not declaring an emergency.
Right.
I think take it out. We're talking about Wiscasset, and if you get into the world, a lot of people just don't care. They care about home. And I just don't think it's necessary. And I think it will, some people will not want to be involved. Keep it homebound.
recommend maybe
No.
mirroring some of the language from the Community Resilience Partnership.
Yeah, why not?
Right, to say, you know, we're joining other communities to take decisive action on climate change.
Yeah, I like that
Mhm.
first sentence.
Yeah.
That's good.
Well, you know where to find it, Cassie.
Guess who put that website together?
Oh, you.
Aha, we knew she was the one.
Okay. There we are.
Good.
To take decisive, I would recommend, how about swift, decisive action?
Yeah,
Mhm.
I like that.
Okay. Okay, so just to, as a sanity check, I just want to make sure that we are actually following the sample resolution. Apologies, you can see all of the downloads. There we go. And that did not, there we go. Sample resolution language. And that's going to take forever. So
Yeah.
sorry, this computer is a little bit slow. Okay, so I would suggest that we, as a committee, schedule a follow-up call
Yeah.
to review this again.
Yeah.
Yep.
Next week is a holiday week.
Correct.
And
What about Monday night before
Yeah.
everything gets going?
I can do that.
That's fine.
that
Monday
would
night?
work.
Does that work for you, Cassie?
I will double check. I think so. Yes. Are folks generally available at 6? We could
Yeah.
probably have a
Yeah.
have a shorter meeting.
Yeah,
6
Okay,
to 7?
6 to 7,
Yep,
Okay.
Monday night.
Monday night.
Okay,
So I will send out a calendar invitation.
great.
thanks.
Calendar invite for November 20th, 6 to 7 p.m. to finalize the municipal resolution.
Great.
Mhm.
And I would also really like to, at that meeting, review our application to-do list and
Okay,
have folks sign up to help us as a group
Yep.
prepare some of the materials and do some of the workshop follow-up to the to our mailing list.
Perfect.
That would be good.
Right. And actually with that, I'm going to go ahead and share the screen again, or share this.
Yep.
It's easy for you to say.
Yeah.
So yes, this discussion of the to-do list will take place 11/20.
okay,
For minutes.
great.
Okay.
Yes, and I know a number of us had sent email invitations to folks for inviting them to the public workshops.
Mhm.
If you could please forward those invitations with their email information to wiscassetclimate@gmail.com. That will help
Okay.
us do follow-up emails and build our listserv.
Okay,
Our email list,
okay,
so that we can send a nice summary of the progress
Mhm.
and share the draft resolution language and hopefully the community action list, the draft
Okay.
community action list next week.
Good.
That's nice.
I will commit
Okay.
to also sharing as a to-do list the draft community action list that Dennis and I went over a couple of weeks ago, so that you can have it for review and to make any additions. There's a little extra information that I want to ask for input from the Lincoln County, our Lincoln County town planner.
Mhm.
So, okay, great. So we have, I can't tell time now, 17 minutes left in our meeting. And so we had a few extra items. Peter, you would like to give your full proposal at the next full meeting, is that correct? Okay. Okay. So we
And we
will
start first with it.
would you like to do that? Do we feel like next meeting 1 hour will be sufficient time to review all items, or should we hold another longer meeting?
Cassie, Monday is specifically to deal with the resolution, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
So I think that we should have another meeting after the holiday. What would that be? The first week of December, maybe? A regular meeting?
Well, the holiday is over, it ends on, it's the 27th is a Monday after Thanksgiving.
Okay.
So we could look at would anybody, no, I think probably it's best for me to do this. Either the 27th or the 4th, I can see if our town meeting room is available.
Before,
If we have it for the 27th, could we get it to the select board meeting the following, whatever you said it was, December 4th?
December 5th.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That,
So if
that
we
is
do
what
it,
we're hoping.
if we have the meeting and pass the resolution and everything, could we have it prepared to present it to the
That's,
the
yeah, that's what
select
we,
board on the 4th, 5th, or whatever?
5th. Yeah, that's what we talked about earlier. I
Mhm.
took a note about aiming to send this draft resolution to them for their December 5th meeting.
Right. If our final review is the 20th, that should give them time to review it before the December 5th meeting, right?
Oh,
And
yeah, definitely.
hopefully,
Mhm.
Yep, that works. And you guys are doing
thanks,
a
Terry.
great job. Yeah. I'm
So
sorry,
Terry,
I'm
what's
driving.
the best way to give that information? What's the best way, Terry, best way to give the
Yeah.
select board the resolution
Um,
before your meeting, so
Well,
you can
first-
look at it first and then
You-
act on it, or?
as the
I was
lead,
gonna
I'm
suggest
the
Cassie is
official
gonna,
committee liaison from our committee to the select board, so I'll send that information to
Yeah.
them with full input from our committee.
before
well-
any of that though, Cassie, what you need to do is sit down with Sarah, the board chair, and go over what you've got and let her send it out to the rest of the board.
Certainly.
If everything is in order, okie doke.
Absolutely. And welcome, Terry.
Well, what
I'm sorry.
I'm suggesting is it shouldn't go out the Thursday before in the all the other documents, because I know all the select board don't go through all the documents. To me, it's a separate thing that needs some attention by the select board, not just, we
I'll tell you what,
we want your input.
I will help the select board put it at the top of their reading list. I go through all of the materials, and I know
Right.
two others. I know at least a majority of the select board absolutely goes through everything. So you just be confident in that. But I will push it with them to look at this, okay?
Because it's not just
because
a look at, we need input. That's what I'm
Yes.
saying.
well, do you want input before they consider it? Is that what you're saying? The input that you really need is from Sarah. Any input that you get from the board needs to be in public meeting.
Mhm. Terry,
Oh.
would it be, do you think it would be possible, we would have to reach out to Sarah, but to ask if she would like to participate in we are going to meet next Monday at 6 p.m. to review the resolution language. Do you think she would be open to attending a meeting with us to review that and give feedback?
She very well might. I can't answer for her, but I'll encourage her to do that. Yeah, that's a good idea. Maybe that'll help.
Great. And then I wanted to share with the group, I know we have about 12 minutes, that I plan on writing a cover letter to explain the sort of history, the process, what we've done to prepare this resolution, all the information that goes into it, and to help just summarize that in hopefully like a one-pager.
Yeah,
so
that'd be good.
I'll try to get that together ahead of our meeting next week so that everybody can review that.
Great.
And I may send that around to the Community Resilience Partnership Working Group members for your input.
Great idea. I've got to go into another meeting. So
Thank you,
you
Terry.
guys, you are
Thanks,
so
Terry.
awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Talk to you soon. Okay.
Yep.
Bye.
Okay. Great input, Marty. Thank you very much for the suggestions that we do some of that education with them.
Mhm.
Okay. All right, fantastic. If anybody has further thoughts, suggestions for that meeting next week, please send that to me in an email.
Mhm.
Okay. Next on our agenda, want to provide the opportunity to, I think, Leslie to report out on the Pleasant Street Extension site walk.
Oh, thanks. Thanks. I hopefully copied everybody. Well, I copied the members of the subcommittee on my summary notes after the site walk, but honestly, I think it went really well. It was a terribly blustery, cold day, but we had an amazing group of people that showed up. We had Rebecca Jacobs, who's a program manager from Knox-Lincoln County Soil and Water Conservation District. We had and Louisa Crane, also from the same. Caitlin Nickerson, who's the president of Maine Wetland Scientists. Brian Emerson, he's a mitigation program manager from Nature Conservancy of Maine. Nancy Olmstead, conservation ecologist from Nature Conservancy. Dennis, our town manager, showed up. Terry, of course, showed up. And we spent some time. They walked around, they measured, they took photographs. They had some initial thoughts about the site. So we left with some actions. And the next steps were that I was going to compile a list of funding, source of funding and grants. So I've been working on that and waiting for feedback from the folks that were at the meeting. And we also need to get some names of a few engineers to do a site survey and give us an idea of what it would cost if we want to remove any of that soil down there. The consensus from the group was that area would benefit from either partial removal or full removal of that spit. So we'd need to get engineers to come and give us pricing, give us an idea of what that would entail. You know, there's another idea of having like a little pocket park down there. And we were also talking about trying to address terrible erosion on 4th Street. So I think it was a really constructive meeting. So more to come.
Thank you, Leslie, for putting
You're
it all
welcome,
together.
Jan. You're welcome.
Really.
I think the next step that will require money and partial funding somehow, whether it's part of the, you know, it's listed in the grant that we're applying for, is we need to understand what it's going to cost to move things around, move soil around, and we're going to need to get some sort of a design or a plan implemented down there. So that will be the next thing. Got to get some money.
We've got to find that money.
Always.
Yep.
Always got to find the money.
There is somebody in Wisconsin who does that type of work. I don't recall the name of it.
If you think of it, just email it to me, Marty.
Yeah, I might look it up, or actually,
It will come to you, Mark.
Leslie,
It will come. Leslie.
My neighbor over here who lives, what's that, south,
That's okay.
Anyway.
You just email it to me when you think of it.
Yeah.
I'll contact her.
It's hard watching you struggle so much. Just email it.
Oh, well.
Would
My
you,
selective memory. It's my selective memory.
would you CC Jan and I for the notes?
Oh, I did send it to you.
Yeah.
Did you not?
I
Oh,
have-
no, Marty. With
Marty.
Marty.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
See what I was talking about?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, right.
I
The name,
figure it out.
the full name in the notes. Okay. With that, we do not have any members of the public. I want to bring up one item that was not on the agenda, apologies, which is that Jan has let me know that she needs to relinquish the role of note taker. And so I would like to ask another member of the committee to step up and assist with that. I would say I contribute a lot to the notes, so you won't have to be responsible for all of the notes, but just work to note action items that we take during the meeting, sort of help to craft the final minutes and put them into a format that flows and reads well and is understandable to a member of the public. And then help to email those notes to Robin Plord at the town office to help make sure that they get on the website once we approve them as a committee. So do I have any volunteers? I really can't take this on as the committee chair because of the amount of time that the chair duties
You
take up.
Understood.
can't, Cassie, you can't.
I
No.
have
can't.
such limited, since I retired from the university, I just don't have the, I don't even have a computer. I have a little laptop that's too old and my little phone. So I'm really not the person to do it. I'm so sorry.
Let me think about it. I'm not saying yes. I will think about it for now. Okay, Cassie, and I'll let you know ASAP if that's okay.
Okay, thank you. That is quite all right. Okay. Last item on the schedule, we have 5 minutes, is our meeting schedule. So we have established that we wish to meet on the 20th from 6 to 7 p.m. to discuss, finalize the municipal resolution and our public follow-up items and CRP application materials. Just a growing schedule. I believe we also discussed that we may meet on December 4th.
Yeah, we did. Mhm.
2 weeks later as a regular full meeting. So as opposed to the 18th. Okay. So 4th, and then pending meeting room availability.
Mhm.
Which Cassie will confirm with the town office. Okay. So that'll be the 4th. Our traditional meeting schedule is to meet every 3rd Monday. And
It'd be nice to be able to do that.
it would be great to be able to do that. Do folks envision that we will need to meet one more time in December? Perhaps I think we'll be at a point where we hopefully will have applied for the Community Resilience Partnership, and we'll be looking forward to our Community Action Grant application.
Mhm.
So I could envision that we might benefit from having a meeting on December 18th
I agree.
to discuss that schedule and get
That's okay.
Yeah, it's
different
good.
folks to sign up for that action grant process, and
Yeah.
also talk through how we're going to make the decisions about what to include in the grant, whether we are collaborating with other towns.
Mhm.
Yep.
Mhm.
Sure.
Yep,
Okay, so it sounds like the 18th
yep.
we would benefit from holding a meeting, and then perhaps in January we may move to a monthly meeting
Regular.
schedule.
That would be
Let's
nice.
do that. Let's do
Yeah,
that.
imagine.
Let's keep in mind, Dennis has got 2 weeks off in January, and I assume Sarah will be going with him.
I suspect so.
I don't know what the schedule is. And I don't think it's at the beginning of January.
Excuse me. Okay, that's
So
really good.
anyway, I did remember the name and I put it in the chat. That
I think you mean Seaver Leslie.
wasn't-
Leslie Seaver. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
It's Seaver Leslie. And Ann Leslie, right, Marty? Aren't you thinking about
Right.
Ann's? Yeah. Ann Leslie and Seaver.
Yeah, okay, and Leslie. Yeah, okay, yeah. Right.
It's okay.
Okay,
I knew who you meant.
Thank you.
and
You're welcome.
Leslie Seaver. Okay.
If I
It's
looked
in
up
the
emails,
notes.
I'd find it.
That's okay. I have their contact info.
Okay.
Oh, you're
Fantastic.
gonna contact her then? Okay.
Yeah, I have her info.
If she
Thanks, Sam.
remembers who it was, if not, I could go through some old notebooks. 'Cause I
Okay.
took down the name.
Great.
Actually, I could Google it too, possibly.
Okay.
Any, for the good of the order, any further items for discussion before we conclude? Okay, thank you,
Good.
folks.
Cassie, thanks for putting